The 12th annual Bat Blitz, conducted by the Southeastern Bat Diversity Network, was held for the first time in northeastern Oklahoma, and a lot of it happened on Cherokee land.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service relies on many partners in the effort to conserve caves and to protect important bat species on the landscape. The Cherokee Nation is one of the largest federally recognized tribes in Oklahoma and own thousands of acres in northeastern Oklahoma, many of which are adjacent to some of our most important tracts on the refuge. So we consider the Cherokee Nation one of our most important partners in our conservation efforts.
A Bat Blitz is a coordinated, intensive survey designed to sample the bat community in a given area. In just 2 to 3 days, volunteers at a Bat Blitz can accomplish as much as a small field crew could do in an entire season.
Basically a snapshot in time of what bats are out there on the landscape. And again, this is important to us because we're tying it back to the movement of white nose syndrome. And this is kind of a snapshot prior to the arrival of the fungus that causes white nose syndrome.
Approximately 100 volunteers set out in several counties in the Cherokee Nation jurisdiction in teams of 10 to net the bats to check species, sex, weight, and length.
This area is so big, and I think that pool, I want to cover more of that pool.
Trina Morris is a team leader from the Georgia Department of Wildlife assisting the volunteers. At Sally Bull number 1 in Adair County, the nets were set up along Indian Creek to wait for the bats to come for water and skim for insects. Several red bats, tricolor bats, and an evening bat were caught for data. Once the bats were in the net, they were carefully removed and bagged for better and safer handling. The bats were then weighed and measured for length and wingspan. The species and sex of the bat were also determined.
It's a reddish brown, that is called the tricolored bat because its fur is tricolored.
The bats were then marked to ensure they would not be checked if caught again and released back into the wild.
This is the one time that I get to come out and really get to handle them, and I get to see bats that we don't get a lot in Tennessee. So it's just interesting and fun, and of course, you know, the research benefit, the data that we collect for these national forests is of great benefit too.
You have to remember that bats are a very important part of the ecosystem. You know, one small bat consumes, thousands of mosquitoes and other insect pests every night. So it's an important part of the ecosystem.
For more information about Cherokee Nation Lands, call 918-453-5704.